Today's podcast is sponsored by Key & Kin. Are you planning a visit for family or friends? Skip the hassle and book with Key & Kin, Beaver County's top short-term rental provider. Their hand-picked Airbnb properties offer modern finishes, warm personal touches, and exceptional service. From a single night to a few weeks, unlock a perfect stay in Beaver County and beyond with Key & Kin. Hello everyone, welcome back to Enthralled. It's been a little bit since we've been here, since our kids just came back from, or getting back into school, and we got a new puppy, in case you see her or hear her during the podcast, so she might be interrupting us. But I just wanted to read our scripture that we have. Let the king be enthralled with your beauty, honor him, for he is your Lord. Psalms 45:11. I'm super excited. I have one of my good friends, Elena, here. And it's been a while since we've been friends, even though I feel like we haven't been close recently because our kids are taking over our lives. Yes. But in a good way. But I met you, I don't remember how many years ago. Our kids are little, well, you're little, you're youngest, 2015. Wow. Yes, yeah. 10 years. So it's 10 years. That's crazy. So 10 years ago. But anyways, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from. Okay. Because you have an exciting background.
Yeah, maybe.
All people do, but I think yours is really cool.
Thank
so
you.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit that, and then we can talk about how we met and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I was born in Italy and moved to the States when I got married in 2003. Okay. I met my husband at a local company while I was doing an internship, and he was there for just a consulting project for about 3 months, and I was there for 40 days, so our times overlapped. Went back home, started dating 6 months later, and so we dated for 4 years before we got married.
So you went back to Italy? Mm-hmm. And then, okay.
Yeah. And then we did a long distance for 4 years.
Wow,
and then,
that'd be hard.
Yeah, it was. And then when I finished my university degree there, came here, got married in Italy, came back here, and now I was looking for a job. I came and did an internship thinking, okay, I'm going to put that on my resume. I'm going to be speaking English in Italy. I'm going to be ahead of the curve. And little did I know, I'm moving here where I didn't know enough English. Oh, right? And
so what did you guys talk about him moving there? Or
we
did.
Okay. But, he didn't speak Italian and he had a job.
Okay.
I spoke English and didn't have a job.
Yeah,
so it made sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a question of which country we should be living in.
Yeah.
And so I come here, started looking around, and finally a few months into looking for a job, I found a startup in Pittsburgh. And actually at the time, maybe it wasn't quite a startup. It was, pretty well established, but they needed Italian and French speaking folks to support their European operations. And so here I am. I loved that job. Loved it. And so that was the beginning of my career. But again, I started from the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah. But it was amazing. I think it felt like being back in Italy because I had to drive downtown. Yeah. I walked downtown. There were people everywhere. And it kind of answer what my dream was when I was going to school, which was working in a corporation, in a high-rise building, in a big company. It was amazing.
Yeah, what you dreamed of.
Yes. So
I never would have thought that
I had arrived.
Pittsburgh would have reminded you of Italy.
Yes.
I've never been to Italy.
Yes,
so.
well, because Italy is much of a, the space is very tight, right? The towns are very tight. Whereas where I live, it's very much in the suburbs. Yeah. And so being downtown with lots of cars, lots of people, lots of noise, that brought me back to Italy. Yeah. Whereas living in the suburbs here, it's too open space. Yeah. There's not much going on other than housing.
Yeah. Just little houses everywhere.
House plans.
Yeah. So that's fun. And then you had kids shortly after?
Yeah, 5 years after being married. Okay. 3 kids. First, my oldest, 16, she's now driving, and 14 and 11.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so when we met, I think Tyler, your youngest, was
Two,
little.
two and a half.
Yeah.
2.5, yes.
And my oldest would have been, it was my oldest.
Yes,
that I had,
they're pretty much the same age.
So we met at a small group that you had at church called You're Not Alone.
Yes.
And I think that's going to lead a little bit into what we're going to talk about today. Your passion that you've had, I know, since I've met you. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure when that started, but you can talk about that. Of your passion for women in postpartum, and kind of then it led you into your counseling career.
Yes, and it didn't even start out like that. Like I said, I was here from Italy. I'm the only one here, so my whole family was in Italy. When I worked in corporate, I had corporate friends, so they weren't stay-at-home moms. And when I had my children, I was able to stay home for 5 months with my first one, and again 5 months with my second, and then go to part-time. So I had some time at home with them, but I had no friends. They were outside of the corporate world. So it was hard to connect. Even in the neighborhood, lots of women and, lots of little kids, but my oldest was their youngest. So it was hard to hang out because they could do things that I couldn't do. And then I had two younger even after, and they would then, their kids were in school.
They were at a
so it was
different
hard.
Season.
Yes, different seasons. So it was hard to find friends. And so at church, they started promoting small groups, and I said, well, you know what? I am going to host one and see if I can make friends that way. So we started out with some books, right? We read a book, we had questions, but not everybody could answer the question and be prepared for the group. So
because we all had like little kids.
Yeah, we all had little kids. And then the kids were with us in the room, and it was good at times, but then, sometimes, they bickered on the toy or whatnot, which was fine. It was perfectly good for the season. And then after a couple seasons under our belt, we realized that, you know what, maybe we could just talk about whatever topic that hits moms and speaks of motherhood. And so then you and I led the group together. And then we came up with our topics and started talking. And the more we opened the floor for moms to speak, they would just speak up of their story, of their hurt, of their trouble, of their depression, of their anxiety. And that was freeing for all of us, realizing that we weren't alone. We weren't the only one experiencing that. And so I think that taking the mask down and just showing up the way we were the day of, right, it was helpful because you didn't
have to like prepare this big elaborate thing. I think it's just in that season of motherhood, at least I remember for me, it was just, I just get out of the house and get there, and I don't know, like you don't want to have to like think of all the things before you get there. Just like open.
We had like a basic, guideline, but then it was like really wherever the group wanted to take it. And there was no limitations. And I think that was the key to be able to continue that group and be successful, in the sense that you just had to just be who you are and come and find companionship and relationship and transparency in the relationships without having to pretend to be somebody you're not. It just feels so much freeing.
I agree. So maybe I have some questions that can kind of guide us a little bit here today. But what would you say was there a personal experience or story that shaped you into your passion for the mental health or postpartum or however you want to.
I think it's a group, because I just thought I started the group selfishly for myself to find friends, right? And little do I know that, I'm not the only one struggling because I'm here from Italy by myself. My friends are not around here, or I'm having a hard time connecting with a new culture. It's not just me. There's a lot of people.
Like everybody's looking for mom friends.
Yes. Everyone that came to that group, or the majority, were in the same boat. But they could have been coming from another state or another town. But even the ones that were in the same town where they grew up, they still had that need to connect with moms or women in the same season of life that they were in.
I think I think that group or that season, you're always like, a lot of women, at least it was kind of, I was a little bit similar to you, that I had this career and I kind of always knew I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but then when it happened, I had no friends as well because I only knew the people from work. I had all my cousins that were my friends, but they were actually a lot younger than me, so they weren't even the stay-at-home mom. So I think a lot of people go through that you have this career, then when you choose to be a stay-at-home mom or a working mom, I guess even, you don't have any like friends or because your life's revolved around little babies and just getting through every day.
And it's a big adjustment.
Yes,
so sometimes change is what triggers people into certain even traumas that they experience in their lives. And so a transitional moment in someone's life, can take a good or a bad turn. Depending on if you are able to be yourself, find community, having transparent relationships, and be seen and heard for what you bring to the table in that moment.
So I remember in this group we were doing is when you started maybe going to the hospital and helping women with postpartum things.
Yes.
Is that kind of
how
you got into that a little bit?
Yes. Thank you for bringing me back there.
I just remember that's what.
Yes. So the more we open up, the more we realize that, oh, wow, there's a lot of women that are dealing with similar things. So the more I looked into it, the more I prepared for topics, the more I talked to others. And the more around that time is when postpartum was now being talked about. The postpartum depression clinic at West Penn started up. PSI, Postpartum Support International, was becoming an organization that was working a lot into this space. And so then I thought, oh, there's something here. There's something more that I could do. But the more I looked into it and tried to find way on how I can help outside of the church small group, I noticed that the answer was you need a clinical background, which meant I needed a degree, and I was not going back to school. I
remember you and I talking about this, and I was like, I kind of felt the same way.
I did not have time for it. I'm like, no, there must be another way. There must be another way. So, but then, I pondered and thought about it for a couple of years. In 2017, I stopped my corporate job. I knew there was something more, and I didn't know what exactly was. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to see what happens. God just open the doors, provide the relationships and the connections, and see where it goes. And so I remember spending all that year and thinking and praying and figuring out what was going to be my next step. But then it wasn't until 2021 when I actually signed up for a master's degree in clinical counseling. But that
took a little bit of time.
It did a lot of learning, figuring out. I think I just didn't want to be obedient right away.
Well, I mean, it's a big step too.
I was intimidated for sure.
I wouldn't want to go back to school. Especially when your kids probably was about that season when all your kids had started, like, to be in school and you had a little bit of time by yourself.
Correct. And then COVID happened in 2019.
That's true.
So I was like, definitely, I'm not going anywhere right now because we're all home and I need to be home with them. I became a teacher.
We were.
I'm not a teacher.
I was not a good teacher either. For a little while before that, I thought maybe I could homeschool. And during that season, I realized I don't think I could be homeschool.
Not me.
Do you feel like postpartum, was that something you ever struggled with?
Looking back, I think I did. My mom did. And so I knew I wasn't going down that path. So I think that I put boxing gloves on and I'm like, I'm not going down that path, whatever it takes. And that's where I started, again, I had my baby in end of October. My parents were here for 3 months. In January, both my parents and my husband left around the time of that one big storm in 2009, where I had 2 feet of snow on the driveway, and my baby was a fussy baby. I had nobody around. I couldn't even get out of the driveway. Luckily, one of my neighbor, a couple days into it, realized my husband wasn't home and shoveled the driveway, which was amazing. But I was literally cooped up in the house, and there wasn't such a thing at Instacart or deliveries.
Yeah.
I was dreaming already of those services at the time because
Yes.
I'm like, I just need some milk. I just need some bread.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get out of the house. Plus my driveway is very steep.
Yes.
So I was not going to attempt going down my driveway with 2
a
feet of
newborn.
snow with a newborn in the car.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was really hard. And that's when Joyce Meyer helped me a lot. Helped me kind of like learning about that. I figuratively look at as a rope that God sends down to you. And I was hanging on to that rope for dear life.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to learn and understand, because I had gone to church at that point for a good 5 years, maybe 4 years. So I was trying to figure out what that meant. What does it mean to be a Christian woman, a Christian wife, a Christian mom?
Yeah.
So that was really helpful to me, and having a voice in the background in your house when you're home with a baby all the time.
You have a lot of,
was helpful and it felt comforting. But it was tough. So. But again, I put boxing gloves on and I'm like, not to me. And so year after year, I kept hanging on to the job because that's where my identity was into. And I loved it. Until then I started a small group and realized, well, maybe there's more. And so
you love that a little more.
Yeah. Took a while though.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we didn't talk about this in the beginning, but what kind of faith did you grow up with in Italy?
Catholic.
Yeah. And then you said you
so when I came over to the States, I was introduced to a non-denominational church. Okay. So that was a different way to approach service and a Christianity more as a relationship with Jesus. So somebody that brings both truth and grace versus gloom and doom and punishment if you don't do the right thing.
Yeah.
So that's how I was trying to figure out what does this grace look like?
Yeah.
Do I deserve that grace? I don't know. It was a weird concept.
Yeah, especially because if you've never been taught that or understanding it or thinking you can deserve that, I think it's hard.
Yes.
For us to realize that.
Because it was always like, well, you work hard, then you get, or you obtain and achieve, and so that part of the grace aspect was a new concept for me.
Makes sense.
It took a while to figure that out.
Yeah. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about how you at the hospital you said that's when did you ever get to go there?
Yes, I did. And I did just before COVID. Okay. And they wanted me to utilize the space to run. You're not alone there. Okay. But again, I could only use it on the weekends. And then you're a new mom. And so that was like a little bit of a roadblock. However, the director there said, if you really want, the clinical background or a master's in counseling or psychology is the next step. And so I thought about that for a while.
But that's what triggered your
mindset. Yeah, if you really want to do it, Elena, either you walk the talk and just jump off and go do it. Yeah. And so that's what I did.
And then, how long, you're almost finished, right?
I'm done. I graduated on Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah, this past Friday.
Wow. Yeah. That's so fun.
Yes, finally. Yes.
And how long was it? How long were you?
I did it at part-time, so 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I remember talking about this. I did not realize it was 4 years.
Yes, it was a lot.
I'm sure it was a long 4 years.
Yes. And but I'm done now.
Oh, man. So what would you say fuels your passion that you have for maybe not even just women now, I think or I guess what did your counseling career, or what kind of degree do you have now with the counseling?
It's in clinical counseling. So, I'm a counselor I'm still pursuing my license. So it's going to be another couple of years before I'm licensed. But I can see anybody. Okay. But my focus will be perinatal mental health. Okay. So moms, new moms. But I am passionate about women counseling in general, and I'm really loving counseling couples too, because I think I can speak, or I can help the husband or the father. Maybe I can translate right what the wife is trying to say in a non maybe judgmental way,
Yeah.
so that he also can understand and see what's behind what's being said with
Like what's
words.
in their brain that they
What's
can't
intention?
understand.
Yes, what's intention?
Okay.
So that's been really cool to see. I like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would like to be a counselor, actually. Some days I think of that too, because I love to just. Actually, one of my goals right now is to be a coach.
Yeah.
Like a life coach.
Yeah.
Which is similar, but not maybe as intense as a counselor.
Yes.
But just because I feel like I look at people's lives so much, and I'm like, I wish I could just help you with these couple. And this is just all in my own head. I feel like I need to be taught more tools.
And that's exactly
right?
That's where I was.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is my credential here to help anybody? But that's my own imposter syndrome speaking.
Yeah.
And so I feel like now that I'm like, okay, I did my job. Right? I learned and I checked the box. So now I feel like, oh, I see a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And, we always talk about being a spirit in a body with a soul.
Yeah.
And so the soul brings the emotion and the logic, right? Depending on how you grew up, there's a lot of either truth or grace or emotion or logic. And so it's good to be aware of it and keep that in balance, because the logic will help you produce a lot and achieve. But if you don't tend to your emotion and understand what the emotion is trying to communicate, then you're missing the color in life.
Yeah, that's pretty. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I know that you probably got a lot of wisdom from all of your your degree, but what are maybe some simple practical tools that you would give women to help navigate maybe those early, I don't know if you want to say days, years, that could help them to go out and find friends? I mean, a small group is a great way.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you could think of maybe?
Yes. So I always touch on identity, personal identity, boundaries.
That's my favorite book.
I know. Boundaries, self-worth. Yes, like you said, being transparent and authentic. That's always been my thing. So as much as you can, right? Continue to build your identity, know who you are, show up as who you are. So there's not that extra stress or pretend to be someone else, because that's like emotionally paralyzing at times.
Don't you think women are terrible at that?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe men too, but
yeah, but it's all our insecurities that speak when we do
when
that.
you get through all the layers,
yes,
you actually dig down. Yeah.
Correct. And that's what I think that you're not alone provided for a space where show up as you are.
Yeah.
We're human beings and not human doings. So just be who you are and don't apologize for it. So, and if somebody doesn't like you for what you bring to the table, then move on to the next.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. But I think it's a hard revelation, especially when you have a new baby and you're trying to do everything right so they can be this perfect human being. But one thing that our pastor said one time was, don't worry about it. You already messed up your kid. So just move on from there. So accept the fact that you are a sinner like everybody else.
Yeah.
And there's already some that you had given to your child. So just be you.
I think that you actually probably helped me a lot in that way back when, because I was the type of person that was very insecure, I guess I would say. But like, I remember going through years of not having friends, and I would say that, I don't have any friends. Well, I need to be a good friend if I want. You can't always wait for the next person. And I think I was just telling my husband somebody, I can't remember, the other day, about how I really don't care now what people think. But I mean, not that but like, if somebody doesn't want to be your friend, it's okay. You can't take it so, it's not you, right? Maybe either they don't have time or whatever it is, but like growing the last 10 years, I've grown so much. I think just being more secure with myself.
Yeah.
It's a journey, but...
Yeah. And a lot of times when we have that rejection, hurts because it brings back past memories or traumas or abandonments. But also, if we're really willing to continue to grow, when there's that rapture in the relationship, what is it that
Yeah.
caused that rupture? And yes, it might not be your fault, but what is it that I said or did or was that impacted the other person to a point that to not wanting to be in a relationship anymore? So if we're able to look inside, then we're like, oh, okay. But sometimes we don't know, but then we can wonder or maybe have a conversation, because sometimes people are open to say, yeah, you did or said or whatever, or I felt. And then we can take it on. What am I going to do with that information? Am I going to work on that part of me? Like, again, like I said, right? Judgment is my thing.
Yeah.
So am I going to work on my own judgment based on my own cultural differences, upbringing, personality traits? Or am I going to say, well, too bad, it's your fault, not me. And then I'm not growing if I don't look inside, and what can I shed or change, right? But you have to be willing.
Well, and I think most people don't want to do that work. They just would rather say, oh, that's okay. They don't want to be my friend. Or if you think you hurt somebody, or they don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Most people just want to it's okay.
I know.
But they don't want to dig deep. I mean, that's what counseling does.
I know.
I love talking deep.
I know, me too.
I'm not.
You know what I thought about it a couple of weeks ago? Like, I love it so much that I thought, you know what? Maybe that's why I always look for deep friendships, because I always was meant to be a counselor.
Yeah.
People share their life with you, and and they trust you, and you're building that trust and the relationship and that secure attachment, so that you can be that person that is there with them in those situations, in that space.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have friends that you can just be
have
friends
fun with. Yes,
but
absolutely.
I do, and I have a lot of those. But I also really thrive with, and I think even like with you, we don't talk very much, but I feel like it could be just like, oh, let's just talk to you. Like
when we go down right away.
Yeah, and that's just what I love. I don't want to say I'm wasting sometimes, but you just feel like when you just go to just talk, it's like a waste of time. But not really. But it's
you
healthy
just need
too.
that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you had a long week, or you're going through some hard stuff, and all you want is a laugh.
Exactly. Yeah. I know. I just went on a girls trip with my cousins, and I was joking when we came back. I was like, I don't think I've laughed that hard in years. And it was the stupidest stuff that we were laughing about, but it just felt good. And we didn't talk deep. We didn't do any of that. We just relaxed and had fun and laughed, and that was healthy.
Yes.
So that's good too.
Yes. Every one of us needs different relational nutrients from one another, and it's important to be able to identify or to have a pool of friends where we can source those nutrients that we need, right? Because we don't only need food, but we also need that relational food. Yeah. And so there will be some, it will be ideal to have a pool of friends.
Yeah, a pool of friends.
Where, you have the one that you can go and have fun with. You have the one that you can go and do an activity with. You have the one that you can go deep. You have the one that you can get hints on how to face the next season in life, right? So being whole in that way, even in relationships, that's so important.
That's so true.
But it takes work.
Yeah. How do you balance, or how do you find all those different kinds of friends, would you say? Or like pick them out, I guess.
I think it's, I can speak for what I did. I don't know if it's the way, but I think that being a very diverse individual where, you do attend church, you have a faith-based, you don't have to, but whatever, like church is one space, the gym, right, school, activities, what you like, but also maybe the activities of your kids, the neighborhood, being open and not being afraid of judgment, because unfortunately people do it, but we all come short of something, so it's okay.
And like you said, I think finding maybe a gym friend, and that's whatever relationship that is might be different than your church friend or your neighborhood friend. Or like I have friends in the neighborhood that I just text them like, hey, you want to go for a walk? Like you just need different types of friends for different things.
And expect that somebody might not be your person, and so you have to try someone else. And it's okay.
That's what I think.
It's okay. It doesn't mean that you are the cause or you are the bad person, that you whatever are not likable. It's just maybe you just don't jive with that person and move on. It's hard though, and it's hard when you're struggling and you're trying, and you're like, oh, why do I run into the same right person? Well, there's a whole other, layer of the onion to peel. Then maybe there's some certain traits in your past that you tend to attract or look for certain people for a certain reason, and it might not be the best. And that's where counseling, I guess, comes in and allows you to go deeper and
you kind
peel
of get
that.
drawn to the people that might potentially not be the best
Correct.
fit, or that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. How do you say that your faith shapes and helps you in your counseling? Would you say, I guess we were going to talk about this too, and we can even do it now, but you're working now at a church, and so I'm guessing that you can use your faith there in your counseling.
So the counseling profession itself has a very strict code that says, you can be of any faith or whatever faith, right? So, but your number one goal is to benefit the client. So you are, once the clients share that they are of faith, you can, bring up more of that topic. But personally, for me, faith comes. My faith comes in place in counseling or in life in general by communicating to women their worth. That
don't you think if most women, I think, can just understand that through all of those layers, that's when they will really become free of all of the maybe baggage or things that they hold.
Yes. Because if we're waiting for someone else to show us our worth, then we'll always won't have enough. Because most of the time people have barely enough for themselves. Right? So knowing that you matter, knowing that your creator, you matter to your creator, and knowing all your identity in Christ is what propels you to move on to the next step or to continue to walk. And that's why I mentioned before, for me, Joyce Meyer was big, because that's what she preached on. But I tend to go back to that, right? And also, even if you take the faith out, right? There's a Bill of Rights in the counseling world that mention how you are worthy because you are a human being. And so there is nothing else you have to prove. You are alive and you matter, period.
That's all you need.
So whichever way is appropriate to discuss with the client, but that, to me, that is what gives me strength.
That's good. To tell them that their worth is worth it. No matter where.
No matter whatever scale they judge themselves on, you're breathing, you're alive, you're worthy.
There's always something to be grateful for, or a reason to want to live. So maybe what would you say to somebody that might be at this place where you were when you couldn't leave your house? Or I remember that when Logan was born in December, it was probably a little bit similar. It was my first kid, and he was a hard baby. He cried a lot. And I just remember many days before I had friends that you just spend and you don't know.
I think that one big thing that I always tell myself and others when you're trying to put a show together, right? Meaning put a facade or put a right mask or pretend, whatever that is. It's like, just be you, because everyone has something that they're struggling with. You might not see it because, you look put together, but inside, there's a whole world that everyone struggles with or is dealing with or is trying to get better at, whatever it is. Everyone has something. That's why, we live in a sinful world, and that's the way it is. So as much as you can or want to pretend, was only one person that was perfect, right? And that was Jesus, and he's gone. So don't pretend so hard, because you can't be him. So that frees me, right? Of just be you, and whatever it is, there's just face life knowing that you can do better tomorrow. But today, this is where it is, and God's grace renews at midnight, and so it's I made a mistake today, I'll try to be better tomorrow.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you don't have to try to get better.
Yeah.
Or just, just take life as is.
Yeah.
You can always improve it. But if today or now that you have a young baby and you're alone and you don't have many friends, do what you can. And the biggest thing that I've learned in counseling, which I had learned in church, is love, presence, being with somebody. That is the number one need that all human beings have. So as long as you are with your baby, even if you're just sitting there and just looking at your baby, holding your baby, that's all you need to do. You don't have to have a matchy house, a perfect birthday party, a put together living room, whatever it is with the latest fashion. Just be with the baby and just communicate, because the mom is the gatekeeper and the emotional regulator of the children and the family. So if you are able to look at your baby, connect with the baby, touch the baby, let that baby know that you're present and you're there no matter what, that is all that baby needs to grow healthy. And then let the rest come.
That's so good.
And that's why I feel like You're Not Alone it has been good, because just be in the room and let us be together just the way we are, without the pretense. Because one way or another, my mom always told me, lies have short legs. You always catch up. They always catch up to you. You catch up to them. Right? So people find out. So might as well not even try. It's too much work. Too much brain power. Too much emotion.
That's what I always think too. I'm like, how do these people? I don't know. I've never been. Even as a kid, I was never good at lying. Because I think I just couldn't. I don't know. I agree. So I think maybe some encouragement we could have for if anybody feels alone is to just do something, go somewhere, find someone, and don't worry about getting to be the perfect mom too. Because 98% of moms or women, I think in general, are where you're at, but they just, like you said, will have I don't know, even the ones that you think are perfect never are perfect.
And when you share your vulnerability, people
they will come.
Like that wall will fall, because they'll feel like, oh, me too. And that was what You're Not Alone was. Wait, I thought I was the only one struggling with this. Oh, me too. Like it's freeing to know that I am not the only one struggling with, and that's okay. So always remind yourself, right? They're struggling with something. They could look like this or say that, but I know there's something behind. So it's okay. It will take time maybe to build that trust for that person to share or never to share. I mean, it's okay. And maybe that person is not willing to share with you, might be willing to share with others. That's why then you move on to the next person. I
think that's maybe why when we're talking about we love talking deep, I think I love to talk to people, even on this podcast, like having people talk sometimes about very hard things. I think it's because when they talk about their real raw things, you can sometimes see such a weight lifted off of them and realize, oh, we all have a story. We all have something that maybe either it's something in your past or something even in your present or whatever it is that's going on, but it's the reason why you maybe feel like you have to put on this smile, happy face that it's hard to do whenever you're like sad inside or hurt inside or whatever it is.
And when you verbalize what's going on inside,
it lets it go.
Lets it go, but also becomes very real.
Yes, that's
true. And now you're
Then
smacked in the face with the reality of, ooh, am I sad?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is this happening to me? Or is this the reality of things? What am I going to do about it?
Yeah. And then they hold you accountable. Once you let it out and somebody knows.
Yes. Yeah.
Then now you might have to do some work.
Correct. Yes.
They're going to ask you questions because, that's so true. Well, this was so good. Thanks for
You're welcome. Thank
coming.
you.
Is there anything that, as we were talking, I think my passion and idea too for this podcast, which we talked about before coming on, was that we wanted this to be a place too that we're reaching out to people, telling them that you're not alone, and if there is somebody that maybe is listening that feels alone, we gave you hopefully some a little bit of tips that would help you. But I know like you're into counseling. Do you want to explain a little bit about where you're at, or
Yes.
or maybe give people some places they could reach out to if they need?
Yeah. First of all, I think that you're not alone. The small group is still, taking place at Victory Family Church in Cranberry. It's usually on Wednesday mornings. I think they are opening registrations soon. We're also going to open one at Grace Counseling Services or Grace Church, whatever website you might want to look up for it. That is going to be a psychotherapy counseling group. So it's a little bit different than You're Not Alone at Victory, but nonetheless, I think it's a good starting point to, one, make connection, and two, to start talking about what's going on in your life. And then ultimately, if you feel like you would like to, have individual counseling or couples therapy, I am at Grace Counseling Services in Cranberry Township at Grace Church.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
This is so great.
This was awesome.
And thank you guys all for joining us today. And make sure you subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media so you can get updated podcasts as they come out.